with avatars, what we have to bear in mind is this. Even though they come with a very powerful, dynamic spiritual message, the message will be in a way cast in a particular mold that suits the time and the place in which they were interacting with. They must address the needs of the people they were interacting with. None of the avatars, however grand and great they may be, gave you an absolute prescription. All the prescriptions were relative to the time and people they were working with. Please recognize this. And I am telling people of other religions to do the same with their prophets. I say you can give them dignity, but recognize the contextual aspects of the teachings. Do not give them absolute status. Even though they were grand personalities doing good to humanity, whenever they opened their mouth, they were operating in the field of the relative, not absolute. So their language was relative, was contextual. They would use the terminology, the metaphor that suited the time and the people they were interacting with. It could not be otherwise, thankfully. Otherwise, they can't relate to us anymore. Suppose, I'm just giving an example. Suppose Christ went into the forest, he has spiritual experience, he comes back into society, he talks high philosophy of this transcendent experience. The people will throw him out of the village. They won't listen to him at all. But if Christ says, I just saw the Father in heaven, they say, yes, we know Father, and we have been hearing about this heaven place that we are going to go when we die, and this fellow is talking that he has been there, and he's seen the Father, he's talking sensible stuff. Otherwise they'll stone him. If he talk esoteric, spiritual experience, transcendence, absolute, they'll say, what is that? Go away. He has to talk in terms that relates to them, in their language, in the metaphor they would relate to. So everything Christ did, if you look at his teachings, he's using metaphors, parables, stories, narratives to get across his idea of his own very personal, transcendent experience. So every prophet, when he opens his mouth, he's now operating in the field of the relative. So however good and grand their sayings may be, please recognize the contextual limitations of what they said. These people sometimes forget. So Ram in a way reflected the contextual needs of his time. And what was the contextual need of his time? Here you see a transition of humanity from being almost animalistic, fighting for bigger and bigger land and bigger piece of land and more money and more power and position and material possession. This is what humanity was there in time of Ram. Here is this one particular king who stood against this idea. He put in a new idea, not expanding kingdoms, but giving up kingdoms for high principles. His own kingdom he walked out. See, a new idea being put into society, infused in that society that suited the needs of that society to grow up, become less animalistic and become more humane. That's what Ram did. So in a way they reflect the needs of the society, and the way they present the message of spirituality will relate to the people and the needs of that people. All of them. Look, I am, for example, personally charged by a personality called Vivekananda. So when I look at Vivekananda's teaching, I see exactly why what he said has such relevance to the world that he was interacting with, not with the ancient world, but in this world with many religions coexisting. That was his language. When Vijayabhai looks at the story of Swaminarayan, he sees that person in that particular guise fulfilling the need of that society at that particular moment of time. He will fulfill that and do a good job. And the reason why they don't mess around is this. Do you know why they can't get it wrong? Because they are plugged in the idea of spirit. They see themselves everywhere. They see themselves reflected in other human beings. That's what it means being spiritual. So if they are in that particular state of mind, they can't get things wrong. Haven't you noticed? Suppose a mother loves her child. The way she will express her love will automatically take into account the real needs of the child in the most suitable manner without knowing how. It happens naturally because they love. So they can't get it wrong. So every prophet of every age of every religion did just that. They related to the society they were working with. They were in love with the society, so they can't get it wrong. They will use every ploy just right, just engineered for the needs of that particular mindset of people they were working with. They would have to address the mindset of the people. They can't just talk absolute things and do philosophy. It doesn't work. Because you see, if they were just pure pandits, it will work. Means they'll go in their own little groups and be a pandit. No good. They can't influence society. Because they love humanity, they want to interact with humanity, they want to infuse spirituality in the world they live in, they will go out of their way to produce the best tools that are suited to carry out the task. And they will present a message that is most needed in that particular period. With Ram, we find this idea of living for principles, not property and possession, giving up this materialistic approach to a more spiritual approach, a more divinified approach of life. Ram represents that. Another feature of Ram is this: everybody lives for themselves. Here is this guy who lives for everybody else. Doesn't live for himself for a moment throughout his life. The poor chap, I feel sorry for him. He never lived for himself. He sacrificed everything, including his wife, saying, send her to the forest. He was prepared to let go of everything. Here we see a new dynamism of Hinduism. Living for others, not living for yourself. Ram means that. This is the deeper idea of, see, this avatar of that time. Again, this idea, some of the ideas you can see they carry, so they are not any less important today. But at that juncture in history, they were crucial to, if you like, shape the way civilization was going to move forward. And he shaped the way. And the third endearing feature of Ram is the idea of integration and assimilation. Even modern society has not learned that lesson. When civilizations meet another civilization, civilizations must learn to take the best of each other and grow, become more mature civilization. Take the best. This is the way we grow. This is how living things grow. This is how evolution takes place. You know, initially there was a single cell being and it couldn't evolve anymore. So until it interacted with another living thing and they become one, a new living thing, then evolution started sparking in a fast move. It's necessary. Just as in living organism, you require this evolutionary approach. In society, you need this idea too. When two society or civilization meet, if they can incorporate the best of both, they'll produce a very solid, very far more advanced civilization very fast, much faster than that would have happened by just one civilization plodding along. When two meet up, you got opportunity of, that's what genetic the issue is this. When the male and the female genes meet at the time of conception, it gives tremendous possibility for a new thing to come into being. Otherwise, the reproduction before was very limited, very slow. It's because you have male and female genes meeting up, allowing this greater variation, that the evolution shot up. Same in civilization. When civilizations meet, they must take the best from both and evolve very fast. This is Ram. You see, I never knew that when I studied the Ramayana. That's what Ram is all about. He went to South India and integrated those civilizations. There was friction, but after that he pulled them together. Not overcome, not overwhelm them, not demolish them, but make them their friends and grow. What a powerful message in modern society. We are talking about clash of civilizations now. What a powerful thing to re-examine, relevant today. So now let's go back to avatar. So different avatars in a way reflect the needs of the time. They can't help themselves. They will do that and let it be. Because in a way, this is the only way you can bring in the dynamic ideas of spirituality and infuse them in the society or interact, because you love people. It's not happened because, oh, okay, I'm becoming an avatar now. You can't help yourself. You love humanity. So you'll give the best that you possess. And in the right format that they can digest. You see, like a mother cooking food for her children, she'll just make sure the little baby gets, you grind stuff, in the little grinder and make vegetables, and all the women are smiling, yes, we know. And then you feed the baby, spoon feed it, because it just suits his appetite. In the same way, a prophet, an avatar, will present idea of spirituality more suited to the appetite of the people he's interacting with. What else can he do? He loves them like a mother. He wants to give them the right mixture, nothing too heavy, and nothing too light or nothing too damaging, something nutritious. They will do that. Every prophet has done that. Every avatar has done that.